chickens wake up at dawn, and before I've even had a cup of coffee, they're out there scratching around, turning over rocks, chasing bugs, digging up worms, looking for opportunities. Even in the middle of winter, we'll put extra food out there in their coop, but they'll still go out into that snow and scratch around, and they'll work so hard. And we got to watch because they'll get frostbite on their feet if we let them tromp around out there too long. Meanwhile, I watch business owners, human beings with so much more intelligence than a chicken. They sit around complaining that there are no opportunities while doing absolutely nothing to find them. And that's when it hit me. My chickens have a better work ethic than most entrepreneurs. Now, but before you think I've lost my mind, comparing a human to a chicken, hear me out, because Henry Ford, the guy who revolutionized manufacturing, built one of the most successful companies in American history. He said this: business is never so healthy as when, like a chicken, it must do a certain amount of scratching around to get what it gets. I'm Brian Hill. I've owned many businesses over the last 20 years. And for several of these years, my wife and I, we've ran a hobby farm. We've raised goats, ducks, guineas, chickens, each with their own personality. But the chickens, they taught me more about business than most MBA programs could. This is chapter 15, the things that you will see, from my book, Business is a Journey, Not a Destination, and this journey is your life. And I'm about to tell you why the work ethic of a chicken will take you further than the talent of someone sitting still. Let's talk about scratching around for opportunities. My book is written like you're going to go on a vacation with your family. When you begin your vacation journey, you start off to go in a certain direction. You have a end goal in mind. And as you proceed, opportunities will arise, and you must decide if you want to pursue them. Oh, look, a chili festival, a car show, a museum. Your business journey will be no different. Some opportunities will fall into your lap, while most will have to be searched out. My wife and I, we've had a hobby farm for several years, and hobby farm is an old English word that means non-profitable, and that'll be another book down the road. We've tried raising animals, ducks, guineas, chickens, goats. Pondered about getting some bigger animals, alpacas and other miniature animals. But right now, we have cats, goats, and chickens. Each breed of animal has its own unique personality. The goats are laid back while they browse on different leaves in the barnyard. The ducks are energetic. They cackle and chase each other around. They're kind of entertaining. The guinea hens, they're loud, obnoxious, love to roam. Do not get them. I'm serious. Do not get them. The chickens are gross. Their coops are messy, but out of all the farm animals, they're probably the most enjoyable. The chickens, they look at the world differently. They're on the move, looking for opportunities, and they seem optimistic. At the crack of dawn, they're up and they're on the move. They're working. They're observant, scratching around. And most of that time that I see them, they're chasing bugs, flipping over small rocks, scratching up worms or laying eggs. Their work ethic is really amazing. Even though the winter months, we put extra feed out there because there's not as many opportunities for them, but you'll still find them out there aggressively working, scratching around, looking for opportunities. And, they must be watched in the winter months because, even though there's food in the coop, they will go out scratching so long that they'll get frostbite on their feet. So now I'm not saying to work yourself to death or work so hard that you ignore everyone, but I am saying get out there and work. I see so many business owners who want the money, the freedom, glory of owning a business, but they do not want to work. They might call it delegating, which is fine if you're delegating things that others can do, so it frees you up to work on the hard things that only you can do as the entrepreneur. So much more could be brought out if one is willing to be like a chicken, there in the barnyard, scratching around and working. Even in economic slow times, I've heard business owners cry and whine about the lack of work. Henry Ford said it best when he said, business is never so healthy as when, like a chicken, it must do a certain amount of scratching around for what it gets. During the slow times, get out there, turn over the rocks, look for opportunities that cannot be seen while you're really engulfed in the busy season. Look for new ways to reinvent yourself or even the business. Use your downtime to sharpen your skills by taking a class, reading, reflecting. A slow time is, the perfect time to work hard. Work hard, sharpening your skills, strategically planning, and, getting ready for the next season. Great time for thinking. Think outside the box. Think optimistically. Look at the world around you like a chicken would. And get out into your barnyard, the market, and start scratching around and work. If there's no success, there'll still be an adventure out there beyond your market to see what opportunities are there. So have the work ethic like a chicken, scratches around, looks for opportunities that are probably missed by others. You'll see amazing things when you purposely are looking for opportunities. Some of these opportunities might need to be avoided, but many will be profitable and it'll be maybe a nice add-on to your business. Some might even open another business opportunity altogether. So here's what I need you to understand. Opportunities don't just fall into your lap. You have to scratch around for them. My chickens don't wait for me to hand deliver them bugs. They're out there at dawn, working, searching, turning over rocks, finding what others miss, going further than the next chicken. And when the slow season comes, when the winter hits, the food is scarce, they don't sit in that coop complaining. But you see them working harder, scratching deeper, venturing further out. And that's the entrepreneur who survives. I see too many business owners who want the money, the freedom, the glory of owning a business, but they don't want to work. Like I said, they might call it delegating, when really what they're doing is avoiding the hard work that they should be doing as the owner. Real delegation, that's when you hand off things that free you up so you can work even harder on the things that matter. Things like strategic planning, finding new opportunities, building relationships, sharpening your own skills. So here's 3 things I need you to do right now. First, get out into your barnyard, your market. Start scratching around. What opportunities are you missing because you're too busy complaining or waiting for things to improve? Turn over rocks. Look for new ways to serve your customers. Find the opportunities others walk past. Second, use the slow times strategically. When business slows down, that's not a time to stop working. It's the time to work differently. Take classes, read books, sharpen your skills, strategically plan for the next busy season. Reinvent yourself or even your business. Third, adopt the optimism of a chicken. And, chickens look at the world like it's full of opportunities. They're always moving, always searching, always believing the next bug is under that next rock. And that's optimism combined with a work ethic, that's unbeatable. So Henry Ford was right. Business is healthiest when it has to scratch around for what it gets. Because that scratching, it builds muscle, the resilience, the work ethic. That carries you through every season. This is chapter 15 from my book, Business is a Journey, Not a Destination, and this journey is your life. The full book breaks down how to find opportunities in every season of business, even the hard ones. If this gave you permission to stop complaining and to start scratching, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm Brian Hill. Your journey will show you amazing opportunities, but only if you're willing to work like a chicken to find them. So get out there, start scratching around. The opportunities are there. You just have to be willing to work to uncover them. Next chapter, we're going to talk about the people that you'll meet on your journey. So see you in chapter 16, and until then, keep scratching around for opportunities. Thanks for watching.